it's worse than the first one. The second official Murder Drones comic by Onipress and Glitch has released, and yeah, this looks not ideal. Like I did for the first one, I'm going to review it, going through the comic, explaining what happens, changes from the show, how the comic comes across, and sharing my thoughts and opinions on the whole thing. Same rules as always, this video is not a replacement for the actual content, it's just my review and rambles on it. In this case, you can find the comic in comic shops, or order it online through Onipress's shop. Before we go through it, know that issue 2 is actually 2 episodes in one comic. Episode 2 and 3 have been changed to be set at the same day, and in the same story. Going into the comics, we knew there would only be 6 of them, 7 now because of the special one for home, so we knew that 2 of them would be mixed together, all one cut. Now we know this is what they chose. The choice of mixing 2 episodes really makes the comic suffer, and I think that will be fairly clear as we go through. But in their defense, if any episodes had to be mixed together, these 2 make the most sense, but I think we can all agree that it would have just been better to make another comic. The comic starts with the Manor flashback. The only changes here is that N immediately bumps into V right in front of Tessa's father. I guess he doesn't care or he's busy. It's a small change I can excuse. The same goes for not showing Tessa and only showing Sin's face. The scene is fine and I do really like the art of the manor. N wakes up to see Uzi questioning the Solver symbol in her eye, and she tells N that he was a pilot. N's line of crashing the ship, which makes them stuck here, and his questioning of the morality on killing humans has been removed, so that takes away some moments from him and the scene. A smaller thing is that they don't show Uzi actually fixing the communication relay. On the other hand, a big thing is that V is here chained up. Basically, in issue 1, they ended it by leaving V in the bunker. Fans weren't sure if this was a mistake on their end, or a change that Onipress was trying to make, but because she is here chained up, it does just look like they forgot to add her to the ending of issue 1. Mentioning this is completely ignored, they actually cared more about apologising for the spelling mistake of Thad. The Core's first appearance scene has been heavily cut, removing Frank looking around and seeing a creepy hand. In the comic he hears a noise, and in the next panel it shows Jay's corpse and core. It sucks that the horror scene has been removed, but giving it benefit of the doubt, it was probably just because there's not enough pages and we are going over 2 episodes in one. The page itself looks really good and I do really like the art. Sadly, it is a little bit ruined by Uzi's "Who programmed that" line sitting in the corner for some reason. From there we see Thad give Uzi her railgun and tell her about Jay's missing corpse and the disappearances. We then see the first hologram scene where the Solver is killing off worker drones around the colony. This is the only one we get to see as the one featuring the detective drone has been cut, probably to save pages. The same goes for the scene where the 3 enter the bunker again. We move to the school scene and both of Khan's interactions with the teacher have been moved to later in the comic and had a decent amount cut from them. It takes away Khan's character and his relationship with Uzi, and even Uzi's reputation in class. Anyway, we get introduced to Dole, Lizzie, and that V killed Dole's parents. In the show, it's revealed at the end of the episode that V was the one who killed them. The flashback itself is then shown in the next episode at the prom. However, here in the comic, they show the full flashback. There is 3 problems about this scene. 1, Dole changes to her prom outfit between the panels. You can see they are clearly not the same outfit. 2, the panels are kind of weird. I get she's paused, but did we need to have her in the same pose for 2 panels? Also, the 2 images just look a bit strange. 3, when Dole speaks, we get a blue note saying "in like Russian" or something. For the entire comic, every time Dole speaks, she is given stuff around her words, and these blue boxes that remind us she is speaking Russian. The two main points of this is that, one, I feel like the like or something part was a bit unneeded, and it could make the explanation a little bit confusing and mostly felt like a poor attempt at making a meta joke or something. And two, was this the best way to show she speaks Russian? I'll be honest, I don't know how else they could do it. Maybe have her speak Russian and then put the translation in the blue box, but that method might fill up the pages too much depending on how much she talks. Compared to other issues, this is a smaller complaint and one you could ignore. It's not the end of the world and has a good reason to be the way it is. Lizzie sees a hologram of herself and goes to let her in. The scene does move on to the next part, but is not finished later. We don't see Dole destroying the door, so the scene is just left incomplete. When we cut back to this after 2 pages, it's like the scene never happened. This isn't even an issue of the show presenting it better than the comic. This is an issue of the comic setting something up and then just not finishing it. I don't really understand how you make such a mistake. It would have just been better if they cut Lizzie seeing the hologram altogether. We move to the 3 at the crime scene and find the solver thing. Uzi tries to figure it out, but is cut off as they see a weird centipede-like monster around the room. Little bit to unpack here. First, Uzi's theorising about the solver has parts cut out, like it being for when drones are damaged, and how the solver gathers matter. The part feels like it's rushing through, and ends up leaving the main parts out. Second, 2 lines from N have been removed. One is the "I'm pretty concerned." Instead, the comic just has "pretty frightened" a little bit. 2, instead of Uzi asking N, "Is this related to you regrowing your head?" and him responding with, "I try not to think about that stuff," the comic just has Uzi saying, "Maybe this is related to your head regrowing," instead of asking N a question. These and the cut parts from earlier help show that N is worried and he can actually think for himself, so the comic removing those lines just makes N look like a complete idiot and a happy yes man just going along with the journey. There's no glimpse at something under that and him having an actual character. Jay's introduction is different. Here she talks to them before she drags Thad away, but we immediately cut back to the school. This is where we see Khan angry at the teacher. Again, in the show, this should have happened earlier. The dialogue is somewhat new here. The teacher actually tells Khan to try put in some effort, and also that today is the prom, so Khan can be a chaperone. Khan goes off ready to be a positive influence on Uzi, and we see that Dole is gone while Lizzie says she's already starting the thing. As you can tell, this is the start of introducing that episode 3 will be in the issue. The choice of having 3 is a strange one, but again, I guess if we have to mix 2 episodes, this one makes some sense. I can't help but think, why not just make an extra comic? I know that is easier said than done, but 1, they raised 1.8 million on Kickstarter alone. 2, after the Kickstarter was finished, they announced Home would be getting a special comic. So they have announced a new comic after the money was raised. So why not make another one for episode 3? Episode 3 is loved and was very positively received by fans. It's even the 3rd highest viewed in the series, placing under the pilot and the final. Obviously, I don't know how expensive the creation of each comic is, and why they decided to only do 6 comics and then announce a special one for Home. Again, I guess these 2 make sense to be put together. They are the 2 shortest episodes and are at the start of the show. Onipress themselves did say in an email hours before the release of issue 2 that 20 to 22 pages aren't enough to tell Liam's story, so they will be adding more pages to upcoming issues and even more to issue 1. Issue 2 didn't really feel like it had extra pages. Issue 2 does have 25 pages, while issue 1 in its current release only has 20. This is counting pages of story and not recap or covers and so on. So yes, it does have more pages, but only 5. And again, this issue is going over 2 episodes. I don't think I need to explain how that's a bit of a struggle. Back to the comic, placing this scene here is just weird. It heavily interrupts the Eldritch J part. I don't know why they didn't just put this in the comic earlier like it was in the show. I do like Khan's line on closing a window of neglect and opening a door of a strong male role model. I think it's good and does fit his character, but I do find the teacher's dialogue a bit strange with him mentioning insurance for some reason. I think they're going for, I'm not paid enough for this, but maybe I'm dumb because to me the wording of insurance is just out of place and doesn't fully make sense. 2, the prom part just feels crammed in there, and 3, it ends with Doll gone and Lizzie somehow didn't notice, but she does know that Doll is killing. These end up being crammed in and just set up more problems. Like, how long has it been since issue 1? When did Lizzie and Doll plan this? How does Lizzie not notice Doll leaving? We see on the next page, Doll is out killing during the day. We don't even get a scene where she turns the cameras like in the show. I guess maybe it can be excused as an empty hallway with nobody in nearby classrooms. Problem is, all this stuff just ends up feeling crammed into the comic, ruining the pacing and making it a confusing read. It's all over the place and constantly cutting back and forth during important moments. People who have never seen the show must be completely lost reading this. I'm not sure how whoever read the comic didn't also find this confusing and all over the place. These scenes need to be moved around or removed from the story. For example, let's remove Lizzie seeing Doll is missing and move Khan and the teacher talking to the first scene at the school. We can either add Doll breaking the door so Lizzie can't open it, or we cut Lizzie seeing it in the first place. This way the comic flows a little bit smoother, and it doesn't end up interrupting the fight with Eldritch J. For Doll killing somebody, maybe we could move that until after Eldritch J dies and before the prom begins. Back to the story, we cut to see N throwing a ninja star. We don't see it hit J, but we do see Fad fall and then invite N and Uzi to his prom after party. We then see a hologram of Uzi's mother. The solver also then shows her dad, but unlike the show, doesn't kill him. His inclusion here just feels, like everything else, crammed into the scene, which in the moment is very confusing. We have another big change. In the comic, hologram N has been removed, which I actually think is a good change. Instead of us seeing Khan's death followed by Uzi's panic and fear, leading her to give N the railgun and then reveal he was a hologram, in the comic, Eldritch J attacks Uzi while she's stunned looking at her father. She destroys the railgun right in front of her, Uzi and N. It looks like Uzi and N don't have time to run away from the explosion, but we see the railgun explosion which ends up somehow killing Eldritch J, causing all her holograms to disappear. And why is there an N hologram there? This comes out of nowhere and it wasn't included in the previous pages. I don't know why there's suddenly a hologram of him. It's confusing and makes no sense in the comic. Uzi and N are also sitting there stunned, and the core is behind them. How are they even alive in this scene? They was right in front of the explosion. It doesn't make sense that it was able to destroy Eldritch J's body, but somehow leave these two without a scratch. Next, I think the core tries to attack Uzi for some reason, but N is able to stab it in time. To show his repeated stabbing, they just show the same image 3 times. And instead of it turning into a black hole, the comic just puts the words dead in a speech bubble above it. Khan randomly shows up, and only Khan for some reason, not an entire team like in the show. So Uzi being scared of N and N hiding have been removed. Uzi hugs Khan as N makes up a reason to leave. The scene doesn't feel as earned and as hitting as the show did. This is because of stuff like the comic not killing hologram Khan and the removal of Uzi actually questioning what N is. That part was a really heavy hitting moment that reminds us that these are murder machines and a real threat that we and Uzi know nothing about. Episode 2 ends on a somber but great note. of Uzi being alone and questioning everything, while N is sad and stuck with V, who has freed herself from her chains but hides it. That part even gives us a good look at V and N, showing that she does actually care for him. But instead of that, we get N not hiding before Khan arrives, so he just awkwardly leaves. The scene has removed the emotion of him hiding and leaving on his own while Khan keeps his secret from the others. Speaking of Khan, he immediately tells Uzi she is going to the prom. What? This scene just feels so shoved in there. Any emotion and impact of the scene is completely gone. Also, for some reason Lizzie and Doe are there in a small box. This part feels like they just wanted to get in Lizzie's line but couldn't naturally put it into the story. The scene is just bad, and again, I don't know why Lizzie and Doe are here. Are they present in the moment or not? I don't get why they didn't just cut them out of the scene, especially because them taking Uzi to Doe's house and trying to kill her before she escapes is completely removed. N arrives back at the landing pod. Wait, never mind, that's J. This is a page from issue 1. Even N going into the ship is the same. I'm surprised they even tried to get away with reusing the same images from issue 1. They didn't even bother trying to change the silhouette for J. There's no defense for this. How can you expect fans to look at this comic and not question the quality and care when there's scenes like this? N goes inside while explaining to V what happened, even asking if she remembers the mansion. But V is already gone and left a note. The note says she is going to prom and that she doesn't remember a haunted house and N should just stop prying into it. First, when did she leave and discover the prom from Lizzie? V was still chained at the start of the comic, and we have seen Lizzie and Doe at multiple points in the comic. Even right now, I think they're with Uzi. Again, I'm not really sure because the comic presents it in a pretty confusing way. So when and how did Lizzie and Doe find V and somehow convince her this was a good idea? Because the two episodes have been made into the same day, there's no time when this could have happened. 2. Why did V write about the mansion? N has not said a single word about it. How does she know that he knows? From there, we immediately move to the prom. So this means many scenes from episode 3 got cut, including any character moments and world building from the first half of episode 3, Doe's house for the first time with Uzi being locked up, almost killed, and escaping, followed by her meeting up with N, have all been removed. Here we just cut to the prom and V shows up getting prom queen. Doe is ready to kill V and N and Uzi just randomly appear. Or was they here the whole time? Again, the story and the paneling are really poor. If you've never watched the show, you would just be confused what's going on. In the comic universe, did Doe try kill Uzi? Did Uzi escape and meet N? Was she here the entire time? And where did N even come from? He just shows up. Uzi says she thought V would have killed everyone, so I'm gonna assume she didn't see anything about how Doe was gonna kill her. There had to have been pages cut out or something. There is no way a writer looked at this and everyone else who checked it thought it made sense. Doe locks everyone inside the room and kills random people instead of drones just in the way / close to V. Lizzie's line is changed from "you're hotter than Doe" to "every drone run for themselves." Not really sure what the point of that change was. The first one was fine, it fit with her character and was one fans really enjoyed, so what's the point of changing it to something somewhat worse? Doe has a joke about an elaborate flashback scene, which the joke just doesn't fit the scene and feels very forced. It's like they saw the show does the flashback here, but then thought, we can't do that because we already did the flashback earlier, so let's just make a joke and fans will consider that a pass. Doe tries to attack V, but in this version she is stopped before she can even take V's arm off. Uzi and Doe talk and N just says "dapper buddies" because people like that line. The problem is N just randomly says it. It feels like they wanted to have the line in there, but they didn't show Uzi and N meeting up again, so they just had to throw it into a random scene. I'm sure by now you understand that the comic does this a lot, just adding these lines, but they really don't fit the moment. They just come across as forced so the comic can have the same lines the show did. Doll attacks Uzi and we see that Doll can't use the solver on her, but it's not like the show where we see a first person view that has bottom text saying it doesn't work because she is also a host. N protects Uzi and they have a small dance. For some reason the comic adds text of what the characters are doing and puts the word dapper on it. N gets his suit torn and gets a little scratch on him, which, one, it's not as bad as the show where you can see his wound is covered in oil. You can see here in the comic, it's just a small scratch. 2, we don't even see an attack that hits N, but here's the result on his shoulder, where originally he had it on his waist, and again, much worse. Before Doll can attack, V shoots her in the head, and look, N's injury and his suit are already fixed. The three go to Doll's house. N says we found her folks, while the actual image shows him not looking at them. Instead, they are behind him and we just get a cut off view of the back of their heads. Again, they are using the same lines as the show, but it feels forced. Why would you have N say, we found her folks, while showing him not looking at them? Even the audience hardly gets a look at them. Doll appears and drops a one-liner before shooting Uzi. Uzi blocks it with the solver, acting more like a shield the bullet gets stopped by instead of it grabbing the bullet like in the show. Doll says she's sorry for Uzi and will help her if she finds what she's looking for, before she teleports away. There isn't even an attempt to stop her. We see V pointing the gun, but never actually shoots. Once Doll teleports away, we end on this great panel. The after scene of Tessa and Jay arriving on the planet has been removed. This being removed mixed with issue 1 removing the scene where the 3 spaceships fly to the planet makes me think when Tessa and Jay do get revealed, it will just be on the ice outside of the Cabin Fever labs. There will be no build up to it like the show had. I know the comic is done, but a funny thing I noticed is they have a page for the Murder Drones merch, but you might be able to see one small issue on this page. The Sin plushie, right there. If you read the comic, you would have no idea who Sin is, and well, she is the big reveal of the show. Since one of the jobs of the comic was to help introduce new people into MD and reach a new market, it's kind of funny the comic itself has somewhat spoiled its future stuff for fans. There is also Solver Uzi, but that one's less considering Episode 4's thumbnail and the cover both have Solver Uzi on it, and it's not as big of a deal as the main villain of the show being revealed.
I hate it here!
Okay, so that is the comic part out of the way, and I think I covered most of it. So there is a lot of issues, some have reasons and make sense, while others are just bad. The main thing of mixing 2 episodes together is really what makes this comic suffer. It removes a lot of important stuff that are needed to explain the story, characters, and set everything up. I liked the ending of episode 2 where it shows us that the drones are dangerous and this is a serious thing. We see Uzi and her relationship with her only family member. Even if they argue, he is still there and somebody she can turn to. Khan even shows that he does care and wants to try connect with her, but the two aren't fully ready and sure on how to do so. N and V get a moment where we see N's sadness and how he does want to help Uzi and figure out his past. V shows she does care for N. It gives her something other than being a murder machine, which the comic hasn't shown at all. Comic V just has murder on her mind, and it looks like that's the only thing she wants to do as of now. Obviously, the episode also helps build more on Uzi and N together, showing them close and feeling like the only one the other has. But there is still some worry between them. Episode 2 does its job at expanding the characters and introducing the main story idea, but the comic removes a lot of that. Episode 2 had some fantastic horror moments, but the comic just doesn't do it well. Take this scene where they see Eldritch J for the first time. In the show, the scene has no words. It's slow, eerie, and the monster does look horrifying, even if you don't see all of it. There is build up to the moment. Meanwhile, in the comic, they just shine a flashlight up and Eldritch J reveals herself in the next page and starts talking to them. Don't forget the scene is immediately interrupted because it cuts back to the school. I kind of get it, it's a comic, they don't have time to take moments slow and build up tension. It can't be done the same as the show, but that doesn't mean I'll just give it a free pass. Then it removes the entire build-up for episode 3 by removing the first half, so those moments, explanations, and making the thing good are completely removed. Episode 3 helped build characters and is our first major look into V, Dull, what the solver can do / how somebody can use it, and even N and Uzi's romantic relationship. But all of that is removed, and some parts even changed, which make the characters and the story suffer. Issue 1 did a poor job at showing Khan cares, and issue 2 continues the trend by removing parts and changing scenes so they end up feeling less emotional and like he doesn't care at all. N and V had an entire scene of them talking, where we got to see moments from both of them. We see V does care for N, and is hiding something for a reason. Meanwhile, N actually stands up a bit, and does show that he cares for V, but is also worried for their past and what they are. In the comic, the entire scene is removed and replaced with just a note. Comic V just looks like a murder machine, while Comic N just looks like an idiot going along with everything because I love doing anything. So far, there's no glimpse at what is underneath. In positives, the art is good. Yes, there is issues like mouths looking weird and missing while characters are talking, weird expressions, weird poses, and art's going against the story. But there is also some good art in there. The covers look great as usual. Even if it doesn't feel like it, the comic actually does have more pages than the first. Only counting story pages, issue 2 has 25 while issue 1 only has 20. Hours before the comic released, Onipress sent out an email where they did include that they would be adding more pages to future issues. Standard comics have 20 to 22 pages per issue. They quickly realised this wasn't enough to do true justice to Liam's amazing vision, so they will be adding even more content to upcoming issues, and sometime before people receive their copies in November, issue 1 will actually get more pages. With all of this, the release date has only slightly been pushed back, and everything is still expected to ship in November. I'm not sure if issue 2 got those extra pages. I assume it did because obviously it's over 22 pages, even if not by much. But either way, it's great, and they are trying to fix one of the main problems people had. I don't know if the pages will actually help with the pacing issues and everything else, but I will give them credit as they could have just thought, we already made the comics, we already got the money, we don't need to do anything. Especially adding more pages to issue 1. I try to give credit where credit is due, and clearly they are trying. Not trying to ruin what I just said, but 2 issues with the wording of that email. They quickly realised this wasn't enough to do true justice to Liam's amazing vision. Is questionable wording because, 1, what counts as quick? We don't know how long the comic was in development for, but it does feel like a problem that should have been identified before the release. Maybe it was, but they didn't announce the extra pages stuff until after the release for some reason. Something similar to that is we're still not sure if episode 5 getting a special comic was something planned before the Kickstarter, or something that came up after it was done. Because if it wasn't planned before, that kind of just makes it sound like they were going to completely skip episode 5, which would probably leave a lot of issues. Or option 2, they didn't have much time to work on it, and they immediately released it or released it not long after it was finished. Which if that, then it is a bit confusing because them and Glitch made the release dates. Even now, if they need to get them all out by November because of the shipping, then they still actually have 3 extra months. The comic now ends in July when it was originally set for June. This means August, September and October will be left with nothing. If they needed time, they easily could have pushed it back to those months. People would have been a bit annoyed, yes, but would have understood, especially after seeing issue 1, and even more so after being told there will be more pages. fans would understand a few months of waiting for a better project. And the main thing is, the fans who supported the project through Kickstarter will still be waiting those months, because it only ships in November. Murder Drones has been great for Onipress. They said in their email it was their fastest sellout in their 30 years of existence. They even thank fans for the passionate support and telling them where they screwed up. So they've clearly saw fans love MD and have been vocal. Mix that with the money the Kickstarter raised and how quick it did. It's clear MD fans are willing to support stuff for the show. But now that trust with Onipress, and mostly Glitch, has soured a little bit, and is kind of lost because of the poor product. Something I have seen is when people complain about the comic, most/all of the hate has been thrown onto Onipress, which is fair as they are the ones creating the comic, but people do need to remember Glitch probably also have control of the comic. It is their IP, they set the deals with Onipress and are working with them. I remember there was an interview before the thing came out, and some of the words from Wyatt was that Glitch was very clear in what they wanted, and how they wanted this to be an introduction to new fans, and something to expand into newer markets. So Glitch are not receiving any real complaints, and any negative response for their handling of the comic. Obviously, I don't know how the deals are behind the scenes, and how everything is set up. But I just think people should remember Glitch are a part of the comic's creation. Right now, it just feels like they're using Murder Drones for money and expanding the company, not actually caring about the product being made. It doesn't help that they haven't actually talked about the comic at all. They have one video where they announced it, and that was posted as a shorts video, a couple community posts during the Kickstarter's lifespan, and lastly, Glitch Direct, where they said, "Go buy it." They never really explained it, and have not said anything about it since its release. So Glitch have been pretty radio silent on the comic overall. I just want to be clear, 1, this is not saying, go hate Glitch, Onipress, the writer, the artist. Don't go sending hate to the people who worked on these. If you do have complaints, you are free to voice those online. Just remember to be respectful about it, and have your complaints be more criticisms and explaining why you find it bad, instead of just screaming and shouting that it is bad. Share it wherever you want, Twitter, a YouTube video, even email Onipress and Glitch yourself explaining your problems with it. Just be respectful. 2, I do really like Glitch, not just for Murder Drones, but also their other shows, and how they are helping creators make stuff they want to make, and changing media/entertainment, and the internet, by showing fan-funded projects and businesses can do well. The work Glitch and their shows have done is amazing. I'm positive for the future, and they are doing great. I do support them. Obviously, it would be a dream to work with them or even for them. They are a great company and have done a lot of good stuff. I don't want people to mistake this as an angry fan who is mad that the show they like is having a bad afterlife and is no longer the main thing the company is doing. I'm just sharing my opinion, and I do think the more people are honest and respectful with their thoughts, then the people working on that stuff will see it and hopefully take it into consideration. One of the great things with Glitch is, or should be, how much they listen to fans and take real criticisms into consideration, and know how their fans are feeling. To do that, fans need to actually share their thoughts and hold Glitch accountable for mistakes instead of ignoring them altogether. Do keep in mind, this is a product people paid for. They have a right to be mad and feel betrayed over getting something that feels poor quality, and currently looks like false advertising, as it is definitely not a one-to-one retelling with slight changes. The current way it's gone makes the project look like a scam and like something scummy that Glitch and Onipress are doing. But I don't think that's their intention, and I definitely hope it's not. Again, Onipress clearly are trying to fix problems, so that is something. I think if the comic continues to go down this path, Glitch and Onipress might have their next projects without the fan support, as those fans will feel betrayed and felt like they're used for money. No, this isn't specifically an issue for Murder Drones fans, it's an issue for Glitch fans overall. what's to say they don't do a Kickstarter for something like the Digital Circus or the Gaslight District after those are done? Would you be willing to put your money into it after seeing how bad the Murder Drones comic was? Probably yes, Glitch fans will buy pretty much anything. There is still more comics, so maybe those will be better and hopefully be something fans enjoy and the comics turn out good. The next issue will have more pages than issue 1, and won't have the problem of issue 2 where it's 2 episodes mixed together. Anyway, sorry for this video being so long. It was much longer than I expected it would be. Hopefully it was interesting and ended up being a good explanation for the comic and its problems. I try my best to be fair with these rambles and keep them entertaining for people. I know at a lot of points they can just come across as more reading out a script and very fact heavy, so yeah, sorry for that. Again, I try my best to be fair with these. Even when I complain about stuff, I still try to come up with reasons on why things might be that way, and I do say the stuff I like if there is stuff I like. Anyway, this video is getting really long and I'm probably repeating myself a lot. So, overall, issue 2 does improve on some things. I would say the art is better, even if there is still problems. But the main thing being the story and pacing felt much worse than issue 1. A lot of stuff is cut out and missed, which causes important things to not be included, and I think really makes the comic suffer. The comic is hard to understand, doesn't hit the moments well, and if you have only read the comic, I think you would be completely lost and confused, which would make you not want to buy the next one. One of the jobs of these comics was to introduce a new audience to Murder Drones, but the comic doesn't do it well. I am willing to give this one a little bit of benefit of the doubt, as it is 2 episodes mixed together, so it is pretty difficult to make that make sense. And also Onipress are clearly trying to somewhat fix their mistakes, by adding more pages to future issues and even issue 1. There is still over half of the comics left, so surely there can still be something good in there, and the comics will get better. At the moment, I would probably give the comic around a 2 or a 3. I think it is worse than the first one, but I think there is some improvements in places like the art. However, the story, moments, pacing, and understanding the comic was pretty bad. Again, mostly because of the episodes being mixed together. Currently, I would just say go watch the show. It's better, has more, and it's free. Again, hopefully the next one is fine. Before I end this, I do want to give a small thank you for how the first one did. It did well for my channel, so thank you all for watching and commenting on that. I hope you enjoyed this one, and you are free to leave comments about your thoughts on the comic, and even my rambling on it. As always, I hope you're having a good day, and in case I don't see you again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.